Paper 7, Literatures of India, Session number 58, Session title, Significance of the title. Mahashweta Devi's Mother of 1084 is a poignant tale of mother-son relationship. This novel is written specifically at the background of the Naxal movement in West Bengal in 1970-71. In this novel, Mahashweta shows how the Naxalite movement touched the educated youth of the city and how they fought in their own way. Brati, who was reduced to corpse number 1084, came from a well established family, turned a Naxalite, and considered those as enemies who believed in the ideals his father did. Brati was humiliated as mother's child by his father, who had extramarital sex in spite of having a beautiful, dignified, and educated wife. He used to hate everyone in the family except his mother. He felt emotionally more attached with Somu and his family, who represented the deprived lot of the society. He was also sympathetic to him who had nursed him since his childhood. Exploring Brati from all the characters around him when he was alive, Sujata came to know Brati from his different relationships with Somu's mother and his girlfriend Nandini. Attempts will also be made to show how dead Brati's values stood glaringly in stark contrast with the values of his father, brother, and sisters. Although it started as a long deprived peasants' revolt for claiming government approved minimum wage from the jotedars and many laborers, it was gradually gaining support from the intellectuals in the city. In his introduction to Mother of 1084, Samik Bandyopadhyaya writes, at one level at least, urban guerrillas were reacting against the mortality of this lifestyle that celebrated and cultivated survival at any cost and rejecting the social familial system that had nurtured them. The Barasat killing in November 1970, when 11 young men with their hands tied behind were mercilessly killed, and the Baranagar killing of August 1971, when more than 100 Naxalites were killed in broad daylight, justified the brutality of torture that Brati and his friends received. In the opening of the novel, it's very captivating. Sujata, at the age of 53, was back on a morning of 22 years ago in dream, remembering packing her bag with towel, blouse, sari, toothbrush, and other necessary things to go to be admitted to nursing home because she had been experiencing waves of labor pain before the birth of the youngest member in the family, Brati. Mahashweta writes, the first pain came in the bathroom and trembled all over. The sight of blood frightened her. She packed up all her things herself and asked the cook to call a taxi. When Sujata was admitted to a nursing home before Brati's birth, Jyoti was 10, Nipa 8, Tuli 6. But what was pathetic was that during the delivery, Sujata not only used to be deserted by her mother-in-law, but also by her husband Divyanath, a womanizer. Divyanath was only interested in Sujata's recovery of health after each delivery. Are you taking your tonic regularly? Divyanath's voice sounded deep and phlegmy, and restless lust stirred him. Divyanath's throat seemed to secret till his voice labored under a vicious load. On 17, January 1948, Priti was born. Sujata was thinking of a morning of 17th January 1968 when she was 51 and her husband Devenath 56. Telephone was ringing on that morning of 1968 and Sujata, in a drowsy state, received the phone. She heard an officer's voice asking her, "Are you related to Briti Chatterjee? Your son, you say? Come to Kantapukur." Yes, the faceless, disembodied voice had repeated, "Come to Kantapukur." The receiver had crashed to the floor. Sujata has fainted. The news came on the day. That was her. That was his birthday, 17th January. After getting the news of Prati's death, Divyanath and Jyoti, instead of going to see him for the last time, were busy to use their high connections to hide this news that Prati, the member of an affluent family, turned a Naxalite. Divyanath refused to allow Sujata take his car to Kantapukur Marg because that could reveal Prati's link with his father. With Prati's death, Divyanath also died to Sujata. Devyanath never knew that his behavior on that day had taken him far away from Sujata, that he was dead for Sujata from that day onwards. Sujata joined her service in the bank when Prati was only 3. In the dream, Sujata saw Prati sobbing and nagging, "Ma, don't go to office today, just this one day. Why can't you stay with me?" Sujata went to Kantapukur morgue with Tuli and saw Prati with other corpses. Prati's dead body was tagged with the number 1084. Sujata identified Prati's blue shirt, fingers, hair, but she was not shown the face of because Prati's face was smashed beyond recognition. She had strong memories of what she had seen in the morgue. There were 3 bullet holes on his body, one on the chest, one on the stomach, one on the throat. Blue holes. The bullets had been aimed from close range. The skin around the holes was blue. The guarded had left his burns chocolate colored blood. The guarded had researched, and now Sujata knew well that Prati had no love for his father. He tried to maintain a safe distance from him. Once Prati told her mother that his father was not his enemy. The class that believed in the values his father did was their enemy. Sujata could not make out what he said. When Sujata told him that he was changing a lot, he kept quiet and smiled. Sujata would consider herself as Prati's daughter. Sujata felt the widening distance between them. When police was searching his room, Sujata noticed some slogans written in Prati's handwriting. "The prisoners, our university, from the barrel to the gun. This decade will be the decade of the liberation." They used to write slogans on the walls in the darkness of the night. Sometimes, being desperate, they would write slogans in the daylight and were shot at by police. Death was the only sentence for such revolutionaries. Anyone could kill them: hired guns, opposition, police, army, and such like. Killing them was democratic right. The killers did not need the permission to kill them, and killing was not a crime to be judged in court of the law. Divyanath and Jyoti tried their best to make Sujata understand that the lawbreakers like Brati could be eliminated with any weapons, and that was the right action on the part of the administration. Sujata could not think on the same line. The question that preceded Brati's death was why Brati had come to place such absolute faith in the cult of faithlessness. Sujata thought that Brati might have been dead to his father long ago, and so Divyanath did not feel the urge to go to Kantapukur morgue to see Brati. Sujata would feel that she and Brati were compartmentalized in the family. If Brati would drink wine like Jyoti, if he would go drunk like Amit, if he would flirt with ladies like his father, if he would be swindled like Tony Kapadia, If he would be character like Nipa, then he would be a gentleman. But Brati did not proceed that direction in his life. In Sujata's eyes, Brati was a different person. Even as a child, he would not be scared by false bogies. He would listen to reason. He would never be intimidated by threats. Soma's mother went on uninterrupted. I used to tell him, "Why do you waste your life like this, my child? You have everything, a well known father, a mother so learned." He would not say a word. He would only smile. His smile froze before my eyes, Didi. This is the conversation that took place between Somu's mother and Sujata when Sujata went to meet Somu's mother. Sujata is wonderstruck that Somu's mother knew everything about Prati, whereas Sujata hardly knew everything about him. It was quite heartening for her. She believed that Prati's sweet smile was only reserved for his mother. She could not believe that Somu's mother also shared Prati's wonderful smile. Sujata imagined the day of 17 January 1968 and also the day before, that is 16 January 1968. The previous night, Prati spent a whole day at home and coming back from office. When she saw him at home, she was quite surprised. Later, she knew that Pradeep was waiting for a phone call throughout the day, and when he received no call from the messenger, he straight went to Somu's house to warn them against dangers. What he did not know till his death was that he was betrayed by Anindya, a member in his group. Instead of carrying Pradeep's message to Somu, he carried it to those who desperately wanting to kill them. The young men, out of their commitment, believed that all of them were devoted to the ideals of their movement, and so no one could betray. They had not realized that the establishments had the potency to destroy loyalty of their children even in the womb. Sujata and Prati had tea together in that winter evening. Prati went to Dhika a few days ago with his friends, so Sujata wanted to know how they had enjoyed at Dhika. Prati replied that it was a dirty place and there was no good hotel for meal. Sujata could not believe and informed him that her cousin went there, but she didn't make such complaints. Prati wittily told her that she did not complain because she was her mother's cousin. What he meant was that Sujata had also made no complaints of Dibyanath's ill behavior with his mother. After Prati's death, she came to know from police officer that Prati did not go to Dhika. He lied to his mother. He was on some other mission. Sujata, out of affection, told Prati that he didn't need his mother any longer. The following conversation could be illuminating. Do you ever try to know what your mother feels and thinks? You're always running away. You have assignments all the time. You say, "I do have assignments. Baba re Baba, so many already. How will you manage when you have a serious job like your brother?" Brati had retorted, "Why do you think my job is not serious? Is gossiping a serious job? Isn't gossiping a serious business?" "Yes, sir, yes. And I know something else." "What do you know?" "I know it's absolutely serious when you gossip with Nandini." Brati loved Nandini, but he himself disclosed nothing to his mother. In Divyanath's absence, Brati would call him boss. Brati asked his mother if she knew where his father used to go after office hours. Sujata realized that Brati also had known about his father's extramarital sex relationship. Brati asked his mother whether he made sufferings for her. "Every now and then I get the feeling you suffer because of me. You don't suffer over Dada or my sisters." After Brati's death, Sujata realized that Brati knew everything about his mother's imprisonment in her family. So he loved her mother most and tried to give her some comforts in his own way. Phone was ringing when Sujata went downstairs and she saw that Prati received the call when she was leaving the room. Coming back to room, she saw Brati wore a blue shirt and trousseau and was combing his hair. He asked for money and told his mother that he would be back in a minute, but he never returned. While talking to Somu's mother, Sujata realized that Brati was closest to those revolutionary boys, Somu, Partha, Vijit, Lalto, in the part of life he built for himself. In that life, he was most himself. He didn't let the family enter that part of life. My son, my brother, these were just a set of dead definitions that Brati had carried with him throughout his life. Sujata felt that this other Brati loved his mother loved him, but never really knew him. These boys knew the other Brati, the Brati that Sujata did not know. Surprise did not end here for Sujata. When she met Nandini, Brati's girlfriend, she came to know Brati, whom she was not again familiar with. From Nandini, she learned that Brati and his friends were betrayed by Anandya. Nandini told Sujata how she and Brati were emotionally attached. Nandini and Brati used to walk the way from Sham Bazar to Bhawanipur. Whatever they saw on the way, the people, the houses, the neon signs, red roses, festoons, newspapers, smiling faces, political rally at Maidan, everything appeared full of joy. But Nandini's world changed after Prati's death and slow death that she had to die, remaining confined to a solitary cell. When Nandini came to know that Prati told his mother about his love, Nandini remarked, I knew that if he told anyone, Prati would tell you, for he didn't have faith in anyone else in that house. Brati, Brati was not close to others. Still, what is there to be surprised about? Does one have to love and trust others only because they happen to be one's father, or sister, or brother, even if there is no gesture of love from them? Nandini continued to say that Brati didn't have respect for his father. Even his father also did not try to make a relationship with him. Brati used to say that his father used to like a doormat. Hearing this, Sujata turned red but instantly controlled herself. She remembered that when Brati was merely 6, he saw his mother weeping secretly and consoled her, saying, Ma, I'll buy you a sari printed with tigers and hunters. Brati also told Nandini that his father was such a CA whose death would relieve others. But Sujata was drowned in Brati's memories as the engagement party was arranged in Brati's birthday. She decided that she would not live in that house after 17 January 1970. Thus, Mahashweta, by her superb narrative technique, had represented two completely different classes of people in the same family, one drowned in material comforts and narrow minded, and the other full of ideals, love, and care, but remained repressed and compartmentalized. At the end, what one could say is this one. This title, Mother of 1084, signifies not only the corpse of Brati, whose number is 1084, it is equally extended to the living mother Sujata, even though she was living very much, even though her life is more or less in a significant manner, is also signifies the death of the self, where Sujata kills herself in the name of subjugation extended to her by the society. So, corpse number 1084 is equated with the living life of Sujata. One can imaginarily give her the number 1084. Here, both mother and son are 1084. However, what is quite significant at the end of the story is this one, that both of them, in a way, successful in their life by making the other people aware of the fact that they matter a lot. Thank you.